that TV. You had no choice.
Excuse me, I just have one question. It may be a little bit off topic, but it's very important to understand this. Everybody employed with the police force in this city, each individual will take an opportunity to answer this question. Were you all born and raised in this part of the country?
Is this like an
Were you all
Obama
raised in this
question?
part of the country?
Regional
The language
policing
skills
is
and
talking about.
interpretation of the English language.
So I was born and
Were you
raised in
born here?
Vancouver. I lived in Vancouver all my life. I can't speak for anybody else, and I'm not sure how important that is. And if we were to ask everybody in this room where they came from, but
Did you read Rob Gordon's report on the missing women?
The assimilation, the acquisition of something when you give a
I didn't
person.
know
Dr. Rob Gordon
Crushing
from the
situation
criminology
of lack of
department at
choice.
SFU, did you read his, or did you listen to him when Christy Clark interviewed him?
no, I didn't listen to him, but I do know.
Why is it that when you look at the missing women's report, you read it cursorily, perhaps, even, that Robert Picton was charged with a number of offenses that were dropped. He ended up getting convicted of like such a minor number of offenses. And here we have like probably, I guess, it seems to me, somebody mentioned the number 70, it seems to me that 85 to 90% of the cases are just up in the air. So where are the people, is there more than one serial killer out there? Is there still a serial killer out there? Is Robert Picton solely responsible? Was there some kind of an agreement between Picton and his brother? Were the police involved in the missing women out here? What's going on? And what about Kim Rossmo, who did a lot of, I have a similar background to him, criminal profiling. What about Kim Rossmo? Why was Kim Rossmo basically rejected by the rest of the Vancouver police? Because they felt that, I think there was a lot of jealousy out there. He wasn't exactly a cop. He had a PhD, he was working on his PhD in criminology, on criminal profiling. Why did it take so long for the police to realize that there was legitimacy to Kim Rossmo's claims?
And then you followed them.
So
A
maybe
criminal.
I could just answer your question. So I think probably Rob Gordon was talking about my report.
So you know who Rob Gordon is, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, but you seem not to know when I first mentioned
No,
his name.
I just didn't know. I don't believe he's written any report, and I believe you're probably talking about.
Well, I mean, belief is one thing, but talking to him.
Can I answer you?
Yeah.
So he was probably talking about my report. You can find that at ppd.ca.
Are you Lepard?
Yes.
I thought you were.
It does.
I saw your picture on your website.
It does explain the answers to the questions that you asked about Roswell and other things. And for
Why were the police covering up during the course of the investigation?
Okay.
Why were they covering their asses? What did they have to hide? What did the RCMP have to hide? What did you guys have to hide at that time?
Do you want me to answer you?
Yeah,
Okay, so
we all want to hear.
every time I try to answer you, ask another question. So I'll just say this, is that you're asking a lot of questions. I think you're probably someone that's going to be very interested to attend the Commission of Inquiry led by Justice Opal that will be starting this year, and I'm sure that those questions will be canvassed.
Why isn't it a citizen's inquiry? Why does it have to be a judge? And why is this meeting controlled by the Vancouver Police Department and not a joint control with the Aboriginal women in this area, with the poor people in this area, with the homeless people in this area? Why are you guys controlling this meeting? I don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair. It's not consistent with any of the tenets of the Charter of Rights, and it's not consistent with human decency that you guys are running this meeting. And that's the reason why we interject. We interject when we're not called upon by you to speak. That's why I interjected.
Okay,
So it makes me wonder, the people that you pick to speak, are those the innocuous, easy to get along with people? The people you don't pick to speak, are those the people that could possibly damage your image publicly?
Well, we did pick you to speak.
Yeah, I'm definitely one of the damage.
So that's quite a lot. So thanks for coming with your views.
Well, you never really answered me. All you said was that Wally Opal was going to have some kind of inquiry.
Haven't had much
So
of a
what?
chance.
Is there an autonomous criminal affairs?
Can you just let me?
As far as the police station is
Can you
concerned?
just let me try to finish answering this gentleman's question? I'll just say that the Vancouver Police Department has no control over the inquiry or anything about it. That was announced by the provincial government, and they control that. So you may want to direct your questions to the Attorney General. And as to this meeting, we feel that we're guests here. We came because the community said that they wanted to hear from us, and we made a commitment that we would.
What we want is the truth.
That we would.
That's all we want is the truth.
And
we're not getting it here.
And I think a lot of people actually would like to hear from us, or they wouldn't have come, and they don't want any one person to dominate all the conversation. I even see that there's some people here from the Women's Memorial March Committee, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but I wonder if you want to say anything about the importance of working with the police and community.
Well, I would like to say something. I've been waiting very patiently.
Okay, go ahead, Mel.
And I know that schedule-wise, we only have 10 minutes left, and when I was at the last meeting, I noticed that the agenda was completely run by the BPV. And I realized that because you started this thing, you have to have some organization, but for future town hall meetings, in order to reduce some of this tension where people are cut off and want to talk and want to address certain things that you haven't put on the agenda, we'd like to be able to have a list that we can sign with agenda subjects, topics from the community, not just from the police department. Sorry for interrupting, but I can see those 10 minutes going by and us coming back.
We will stay longer than 10 minutes. We will stay longer than 10 minutes, but just we don't really have a
Do you understand my point, that we'd like to be a part of the process in regard to what gets talked about here, rather than being squeezed in when you say you're the guest?
Sure. So we don't have a firm agenda, but what we did want to do was be responsive to the things that were brought up at the last meeting, and you were here. And people asked us to bring back information, and so that's what we wanted to make sure that we did for sure, is to bring back the answers to the questions and the queries that we were asked at the last one.
So
we
how
also
can we
wanted
have
to
an influence on what items are placed on the agenda for next meeting and all future meetings?
So anybody that, Joanna is sort of our point person on the quasi-agenda, and anybody that wants to suggest something that should be talked about that we haven't already committed to because it's on our to-do list.
Democracy and representation. There should be people from Indigenous women up there.
We ought to take a roll
Here.
call.
He's dominating this meeting.
For the next
So
meeting.
anybody can email
Or phone me.
or phone Joanne, and she will put it on the list of things we've talked about. So you're very welcome to suggest things that we talk about, and you can hold us to account. If it's not on the list of things to talk about, then you can certainly hold us to account on that as well.
Okay, that sounds good. I'm offering
Okay.
that not just because that's part of how often these meetings are run, but because I think there might be a lot less resistance and a lot less interruptions, and people aren't forced to feel they're being done a favor if we speak on topics that concern them.
And if I could ask everybody, if we do have an agenda item, if you could send it to me sooner rather than later. If there's some research that needs to be done, or somebody who's an expert in that particular field, we'll do our best to make sure that they're here for the next town hall meeting.
Even me?
So,
Even, of course you, Carrie.
Okay. You're
Okay,
gonna get a
so-
whole shitload.
so Kelly had her hand up, and then I'm going to get this lady in the green suit.
She's been waiting a long time.
I want to thank all the participants for the commentary, and very crucial. It appears again for 40 years that I've been living here that the town demands an attitude adjustment within the department. And I'm appreciating that the reports that have come out for the Missing Murdered Women's campaign, I'm appreciating that the police department and RCMP did make public statements that there were mistakes made, and appreciation for the monthly meetings that with our group. I'm co-founder, part of the very few half dozen women that co-founded the Missing Murdered Women's campaign. Most people know. And I'd like to reiterate that before the town hall meetings began, and before the monthly meetings with the police department, we had the repatriation support for the families in August, in June, July, and August to December. We've had 10-day fasts for that. And I'd like to acknowledge the meetings and the minutes of those meetings from June till now, and thank the Vancouver Police Department and RCMP. I don't like it that the police had a few $1 million out of the $10 million allocated for the missing murdered women, but I'm not here for flattery. What I'd like to have here at the town hall meetings is a commitment publicly again, even in writing or however it is, that the department and RCMP, well, I know you can't speak on behalf of the RCMP, but there's been public admissions of fault wrongdoings. And with that, since the Academy had accepted $4 million of the 10 million from the Crown, I don't know how that was intercepted, but I've asked that the Ashley Machishkinik investigation be reopened, because that attitude readjustment and the fear of meeting with the police, and I'm thankful that that was reopened in agreement with the VPD. And I'm appreciative also for the pledge of the department to make pledge for funerals, memorials, and costs and accommodations for our 33 women that were brutally murdered. There was a great impasse that coroners and police and mayor's office, the premiers, when I phoned him, he retired next day. When I went to see the previous premier, he quit, well, flew to Victoria and retired in 4 days. And we don't want everybody to quit, you know. There's somebody, there has been accountability by admissions of fault, self-fault by